Switch Radio Sport. This is Switch.
Esme, thank you for talking to us on Switch today. You've been at your team now for a few months. What's your thoughts on your performance and the team's performance so far?
Yeah, I think we've had a good start. Obviously, it was quite difficult start of the season, the first week being a 3-game week. But coming out of that, obviously with what happened in the cup competition with 9 points was a really, really strong start for us. And we're just working it as each game goes, seeing how we do each week in, week out. I think on a personal note, it's a very competitive squad. So it's really tough to kind of get those minutes, get that game time. But I'm really happy with how it's going so far, getting some good minutes and playing football that I'm enjoying with my friends, which is, really important for me as well. Having a really nice time at the moment, so that's good.
And a win on Sunday versus Sutton Coldfields to add 3 more points to the tally. What did you think of that result and Gemma Fraser's hat-trick as well?
Yeah, I think it was a really convincing result, which is nice. Obviously, we have had a couple of wins already, which is brilliant, but to have one that's as convincing as it was on Sunday, I think is a really strong point. And yeah, Gemma's brilliant, really confident striker. She gets in front of goal and you've always got that confidence in her that she's got the ability that she's going to score. And it's always nice to see someone get a hat-trick as well. And again, it was a really enjoyable game. I think we played with a lot of creativity and a lot of freedom, and hopefully we'll have many more similar results to come.
Well, regarding the league position, you're still in that top spot quite firmly as well. Just like last season, is being a stable top half team the goal for Leafield? Or do you have aspirations for a little more, whether it be this season or even in future seasons?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to do the best that we can in the league and hopefully really push towards that promotion this year, especially with that playoff game as definitely as an option. It's been a strange one because obviously you hear of things from other teams, and we have some teams that are saying that we're going to win the league, and we have some teams who have turned up to games and I think underestimated us, comparing us to last season and talking about how we've changed and things like that. So it's always important to try and live up to the expectations that some people have got, but also try to prove wrong some of the other people's expectations that we won't be as high up there this year. So no, absolutely trying to push towards as high a finish as we can, hopefully within the top 2 and see how we get on there, but definitely have high aspirations this year. I think the changing room's up for it, the staff are obviously behind us, so definitely pushing to do the best that we can across all competitions.
And on a personal note, Ez, you've played versus Worcester and Stourbridge this season already. Both teams I'm sure you have strong emotions for, being your previous teams. How were those 2 games?
Yeah, really fun, really enjoyed them. I have a lot of respect for Meg and had many years at Stourbridge, so that was nice just to see Meg catch up and play what was a competitive game. Obviously we were glad to come away with the win, but no, I really enjoyed the Stourbridge game. And then Worcester, I have a lot of friends there as well, so it's nice to see them and just kind of catch up. There's no bad blood between myself and kind of any of the other clubs in this league, which is really nice. And it's a really nice position to be in. That actually sometimes when you rock up to a game day, you've got people who you would call your friends on the opposite side. So it's been nice. Obviously there was some emotions. I think it's going to be a fun one when we go to the War Memorial. It's going to be very strange to be sat in the away changing room, but at the same time I know I won't be the only person feeling that way, so we'll just try and focus on the game ahead, try to focus on getting the result as well. But no, it's been fun. It's just a funny one, isn't it, seeing people who you're friends with and then you get on the pitch and you're focusing on the game. It's some emotions, but mainly focusing on the result at hand.
And regarding the National League Cup, a win versus Stourbridge, Leicester Academy was a draw on the day, but you were awarded the 3 points after Leicester being penalised. The format is new this season. What are your thoughts on the League Cup this year?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's obviously very different, and I suppose you could argue kind of pros and cons. It's good that there's so many games that you can rotate and give a lot of players minutes, where maybe wasn't the case as much with how the layout was kind of last year. But on the flip side, like I said, it is quite difficult having more midweek games and having 3-game weeks and things like that. It's quite difficult on the recovery, and obviously you can't rotate everyone. So I suppose on that side, I think it does make things a little bit more difficult. But I suppose as well, also playing against teams that we wouldn't have played against otherwise, playing against the PGAs and your tier 3 teams that really, unless you do draw them in the FA Cup or draw them in any other cup competitions or organised friendlies, I suppose you're not going to have the chance to play. And obviously with West Brom on Sunday, they have a brilliant setup, brilliant stadium. So I suppose on that side, we wouldn't have had the opportunity, unless drawn against them in another cup, to play there. So I suppose, yeah, it's interesting. And like I said, you can argue for and against it, but I think probably the pros probably outweigh the cons, really.
You've led me nicely there, Ez, for Sunday's game against West Bromwich Albion in the League Cup at the Alexander Stadium as well. That'll be an amazing occasion, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it looks like a great place to go and play. We have some players who have been at West Brom. Obviously, Tash herself was at West Brom, so cross wires there as well. Yeah, looking forward to the occasion. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. We want to back ourselves on any day against any team. So it'll be really interesting to kind of see how the game plays out. Like I said as well, playing against tier 3 teams, which you don't really do unless drawn against them. It's a really good opportunity for us to try and prove ourselves and also see how we can do up against tier 3 standard, especially if we do want to push to try and go up this year. So I think, yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a really interesting game.
And on to the FA Cup draw, it has been made. Leafield are entering in the third qualifying round this season, which takes place on the 5th of October. You're away to Spalding United Women. Has this been spoken about much in the dressing room just yet? And also, what are your thoughts on the FA Cup this season?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I can't say my mum's going to say the same as it's on her birthday. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. We've not spoken about it too much, just trying to take each game as they come week by week. But obviously it will be in the back of our minds. It's a competition that, clubs can do really well out of. And it is one that we'll definitely want to have the result for. But no, just kind of focusing on each game as it comes. But I'm sure when that game does roll around, our preparations will be as good as they are for any other game. I think the FA Cup this year is going to be really good. So I think teams are really starting to kind of see the value in it, especially as prize money and things like that is ever increasing and the excitement around women's football is ever increasing. I think FA Cup games are a really good way to get more people involved in watching women's football, especially kind of as the competition gets further along and you start to get, your underdogs starting to play against your big team names. So I think it's always an exciting competition anyway, across men and women's football. But I think as women's football continues to grow, it's only going to get more and more exciting to watch and to play in as well. So it's always good to see the growth of the women's game kind of coming through and helping teams and clubs along the way.
Switch Radio Sport. This is Switch.